What was Martin's weapon of choice against Sara? How did he begin the media and political black ops against Sara in a way that he knew would stick? Do you know? Can you take a guess? The confidential funds was Martin Romualdez's idea. How? Why did he think of that? As you all know, Martin is the engineer or the architect of the most efficient corruption blueprint of all time. I said this many times in this piece. Apart from being efficient, Martin looks at corruption with no restraint, with no soul, with no conscience. He views corruption quite obviously as like this Olympic level sport where he's like the gold medalist, where he's like the world record holder. And because of that, he found so many creative and admittedly brilliant ways to steal. If we're talking about flood control, MOOE, the gold reserves, any of that stuff. Martin was so good at leaving no stone unturned. CJ Hero's episode Purposefully, she explains there how he even took the salaries of the janitors in Congress. Wild. Unbelievable greed. So because of Martin's unparalleled understanding of how money moves within government and how to cover his ass while he's stealing, he knew that the confidential funds of Sara, because there's confidential funds in multiple government agencies and offices all across the country, and he knows that that aspect is unreceipted, that he knows that a lot of that expenditure is not audited, at least not traditionally in the government sense. So he knew that if he called that out, it would look dirty, right? It would look dirty. Now, whether or not those confidential funds were actually used in a dirty way by Sara is not the point. Martin used that aspect, he used that characteristic to make it look like Sara was undeniably stealing. But he didn't do it altruistically. He didn't do it to save the day. Martin did it because he wanted to get Sara Duterte out of the way for 2028. His mentor, Gloria Arroyo, always said that the presidency is destiny. And Martin looked at her and said, no, the presidency is man-made. Because he has this preposterous, delusional, ridiculous, like disgusting levels of ambition. He wanted to be all-powerful. He wanted to be president in 2028. And he knew in order for that to happen, he needed to get Sara out of the way. So what did he do? He intentionally made sure that Sara and BBM were separated and eventually divorced. And it was one of the ugliest, nastiest president-vice presidential wars we've seen, probably the worst one ever. That was Martin too. In his mind, now that he had all the influence as Speaker of the House, now that he was stealing all those billions of pesos and eventually billions of dollars, he felt that if he got the vice president out of the way, he would have a clear path towards Malacanang in 2028. That's what he did.
A few moments later.
Kung nag-enjoy kayo,
please follow,
like,
comment,
and share!